All right, y'all, let's do a full recap on 2022 USS Nationals strongman competition. First of all, I gotta say it was an experience, and they run a heck of a show up there. It was a good operation. Everything ran smooth, no complaints. They did an awesome job up there in New Hampshire as a whole. Everything, I mean, there was 500 plus athletes there, and it was just smooth. I mean, we started at 9 a.m. and I think we was out of there by 4. I mean, they was done cleaning up the whole joint by 6 o'clock in the evening. So you'll have to excuse my eye here. Popped some blood vessels in it during the competition, so it's red. I'm beat up. Today is Wednesday, so it's a few days after the competition. I am tore down, beat up, don't feel good. I left it all out there for sure. So let's hop right in and we will talk about it. In the middleweight 220 weight class, there were 69 competitors that showed up to compete, and I ended up placing 9th place out of all 69 competitors. So 9th in the nation in the 220 weight class. I can't say that I'm not disappointed with that. Obviously, I wanted to go and win first, but competition was stiff. I executed every event perfectly, pretty much. I mean, to my best. I executed everything. I think I couldn't have done much better on anything else. I hit what I was supposed to hit, pretty much. I mean, I could have done better a little bit on a deadlift. I could have been faster on the press and medley a little bit, but I was right there within range of where I thought I'd be, so no complaints there. It's 9th place at that big competition, going in as an underdog. Everybody knows I'm natty. I'm going up against some guys who are not. I throw that out there because people talk about it. I don't care. I don't care that the guys, some of them ain't natty. I don't care that who is natty, who ain't. I know the sport. I know what I'm into. And you'll see once I get through talking about all this that I'm right there.
All right, brother, you got it? Yeah, you got it. Yes. One more, Sam, you got it. Yeah.
Hopping into the first event, we had the odd object press medley. It's the 200-pound sandbag, 225-pound keg, 225-pound sandbag. I pressed all 3 implements in 30 seconds, which was that's the number. I didn't want to do over 30 seconds. I wanted to be 30 seconds or less at this competition, and that's what I was. So I came away and placed 11th out of 69 on that event, about where I thought I'd be. Honestly, even maybe a little worse. I thought that I might drop back more towards mid-pack, but 30 seconds was a good time. 11th place out of 69. No complaints there.
Yeah.
Into the the second event, the deadlift. The deadlift started at 620 pounds. And I knew going into this that I needed to pull the 620, the first one for sure. It was 30-pound jumps, so the next one was 650. I wanted to pull the 620, then I wanted to pull the 650, and then depending on how 650 felt, I was gonna try or not try 680. Anyways, I pulled the 620, popped the vessels in my eyes, got it up. It was a tough rep. And then I tried the 650, and I knew before I tried that it wasn't gonna be there. But I drove 1,300 miles. There wasn't no way that I wasn't going to try to pull the 650. So I tried the 650. It didn't budge the ground. So that was the 620-pound opener was a 16-way tie for 5th place. So there was a lot of guys that couldn't pull the 620. I think the heaviest weight lifted in my weight class was 770 pounds. And I think somebody, that maybe a couple people hit 710, a couple hit 680, a couple hit 650, and then a bunch of us pulled the 620, and then a lot of zeros there. So, tied for 5th place on the second event on the deadlift.
Go Sam! Go Sam! Come on, Sam. Woo!
Getting into the third event, the crucifix carry. It's a 300-pound crucifix. You just have to run it down 25 feet, cross a line, come back. I knew before this event started that this wasn't going to be a problem. Training, everything had felt good. My coach had me doing 80 and 90% comp weight for 150 and 200 foot runs. And everything always felt good. So I knew going into this event I should be fast, quick, and it shouldn't be a problem. But watching all the people in front of me, there were a bunch of them eating their face and falling over and getting hurt, and just it looked pretty rough watching a lot of them fall with a 300-pound crucifix in their arms. But I ended up tying for 2nd place on this event. I ran that course. It was 12 seconds. First place did it in 11 seconds. Going into the 4th event, got the farmers hold for time, 60 seconds. You hold the farmers as long as you possibly can. It's 250 pounds per hand. I knew this event was going to be tough for me. I knew that I was good for 30 to 45 seconds. But in my head, I was thinking at this competition, I had a minute. A minute was in my mind. A minute's what I wanted. A minute's what I was there going for. And I ended up doing 41.57 seconds. Pretty tough goal there. The farmers handles, which everybody's in the same boat. I'm sure we all trained on regular farmers handles, but there was no knurling on the handles. They were, I don't want to say they were slick, because they had kind of like this painted tack finish. So they didn't really feel slick in your hand, but you couldn't get your skin to bite into like the knurling on a bar on a regular set of farmers. But this or that aside, 41 seconds. I got 39th out of 69 competitors on that event. I dropped way too many points. If I would have got to that minute mark, I mean, you're talking, I'd have been right up there in the top 10. I'd have gained a lot of points if I could have held on for 10 to 15 more seconds. So, anyways, 39th.
Got this. All right.
Let's go! Let's go! Oh, hell yeah! We're in the groove! We're in the groove! Let's
You
go!
got it. Come on.
Let's go! Get up! Good time! There we go!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Come on. Keep going, boy.
Don't stop! Don't stop!
Come on, yes. Come on. You got this.
We're in a great time! Let's go! Get up! There we go! Oh yeah!
Come on, one more. Come on. You get
Let's
it.
go! This is all or nothing right here! All or nothing! Got 2 more! Let's go!
Get another one. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hurry. Get it up there. Yes. All right. Good job.
The 5th event was stone to shoulder. It was a 270-pound Atlas stone. You put it up to your shoulder and put a hand away, showing control at the top. Get the down command. You do as many reps as possible in 60 seconds. And I knew this was a good event for me. I've been training this and it's felt good. I've done 25 pounds over comp weight repeatedly for sets of 2. And it's felt good all along throughout training. I wasn't sure how many I could do in a minute. My coach had me doing sets of I think 2 and 3 sometimes, depending on which week it was, but I think I done 4 sets of 2 and then like 3 sets of 3 at comp weight. So I didn't know how many I could get in a minute because I was just doing 3. But then I was doing sets of 2 with 300-pound stone in training. So I didn't know how many I could do in a minute. But I ended up doing 7 reps in a minute and tied first place on this event. So I got first place on the stone to shoulder, tied first place on the stone to shoulder at this national level competition. I tied second place on the crucifix carry, at this national level competition. And got 11th place on the press medley, tied for 5th on the deadlift, and my farmers was 39th. And I ended up 9th place overall at this competition. But I'm right there, man. I'm right there. The top 10 to 12 guys, man. It was so close. It was so close. I'll tell you how close it was, which none of this matters because I didn't win. The next guy didn't win. But how close it is, how close I am to a win at a national level. If I pulled the 650 deadlift, which I believe I could, I didn't that day, but that's there. The 650 is there depending on the day. But if I pulled the 650 deadlift and if I held the farmers for 15 more seconds, which is a lot, that's not there right now. But if you hold the farmers for 15 more seconds, you pull the 650 deadlift, I'm sitting in second place at the end of this competition. And that's how close it is. Even if I hold the farmers for the same time that I did, and I pull the 650 deadlift instead of the 620, I end in 6th place. So it's encouraging to me to see where I'm at after going up there, seeing the guys. I gave up so much weight. I weighed in at 211 pounds. I know that the guys do a water cut especially at the Pro 231 class. But here at the national level, I gave up, man, I bet I gave up 40, 50 pounds. There's the top guys, I bet they weighed 240, 250, some of them pushing 260, executing their water cut, which kudos to them. You know, they know what they're doing. They know how to come in heavier to the competition, to be stronger. I've never done it. Maybe I'll try it in the future if I gain weight and be able to cut down. But to know that I weighed in at 211 pounds and got 9th place at a national level show, and to know that I wasn't that far off. I mean, 20, 30 pounds on a lift, 10, 15 seconds on a hold, and you're on the podium. So for me, very pleased getting 9th in the nation at this competition, especially considering I gave up a lot of weight coming in at 211 pounds. We could weigh 220. And like I said, a lot of the guys, they weigh 250, upwards to 260. They do a water cut. They weigh in 220, 24 hours before the comp, and then they're right back up there at 240, 250 the day of. A lot of these get a lot bigger than me. A lot of these guys, I mean, you can tell. You can tell who did their water cut. They're massive. They're massive compared to me. But the strength difference, it's not that big. The guy who got first, I mean, his deadlift, it's huge. It's way bigger. Like I said, he's the one who hit 770. His deadlift strength is on it's in another space compared to mine. I think the next closest to him was 710. So he was in a league of his own there. But first on stone to shoulder, second on crucifix, 11th on the press medley. Like I said, the deadlift is a 16-way tie for 5th. I gotta get my deadlift up. 30 pounds on a deadlift cost me 3 places at this comp. And then grip's got to get better. Grip's got to get stronger. I think this is actually the first competition I've done that had a grip event in it. So I'd never had trained grip before this prep, and I knew when I started training grip for this prep that my grip was weak. And I seen some newbie gains, and my grip got stronger throughout this prep. But I wasn't starting at a good spot. You know, if I was starting from like where I am now and could grow from there, it would have made a 10, 15 second difference. But I was starting out with a pretty daggum weak grip. I could probably hold comp weight, for 20, 25 seconds when I first started this, and I ended up holding it, for some 45s in training. But now I can hold it for 40 plus seconds, and I'd be able to build off of that. But just to show the competition that stiff, I knew one of the names of the guys that was competing. His name was on the roster, Dan Caraway. We hit it off at the comp, and he was going right in front of me. So we was side by side all day talking, shooting the bull. But Dan Caraway was competing at this comp. Matt Cooney. These are two names back in 2018. They got invited to represent Team USA over in I think it was Ukraine at a Team Worlds competition. I think it would have been probably Willie Wessels who reached out to them, thought they were good enough on the scene, you know, to go over there and compete. It was them two and two others. I know one of the others was Joey Zatmary, and I don't remember the other guy, but Dan Caraway, he got second at this comp, so he had a real good comp. And Matt Cooney, he was competing, and he got 16th. So these are guys who got picked to represent my country in a Team Worlds competition, and I'm close. I mean, I beat Matt Cooney on the day, and Dan beat me, you know, on the day overall. But I still beat Dan on the pressing medley. I still beat Dan on the stone to shoulder. He beat me on everything else, but I beat him on 2 events. So pretty happy with where I'm at. I definitely can put some weight on. I definitely can add some strength by doing that and even be further ahead. But overall, I'll say it again and again. I wanted to win, especially coming in, you know, as the new guy on the scene. I wanted to come in, make a statement, make a name. First year and a half in the sport. But even placing 9th at Nationals here, I'm there. I'm close. I'm in the mix. Made top 10 in the nation as a natural strongman, as a guy who gave up 30 plus pounds to the top guys. So I'm learning as I go, picking up tips and tricks, and I appreciate y'all tuning in, and appreciate y'all support. Until next time, catch you later.